All right, let's talk to another doctor, shall we?
And let's lighten up the
Let's lighten it
topic
up.
a little
Let's
bit.
lighten it up.
Get me out of my funk, will you?
I will.
Oh, no.
Did you say, oh, no?
Yeah.
Dr. Tanya Cochran joins us right now. Dr. Cochran is an expert on fandom and fan culture, and we're here to discuss a very specific kind, although we will broaden it out just a little bit. Dr. Cochran, how are you? Thanks for being here.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
We're thrilled that you're here. Now, we're going to talk about the sheer act of being a fan, and fan, as you know, because you're a doctor about this, that the word fan is derived from fanatic, and rightfully so, correct?
That is one derivation, yes.
Yeah.
But we're not talking like a fan of James Gandolfini like Bill is, or a fan of show business.
More obsessive fans.
Yeah, this goes beyond that, right?
Well, certainly there's a spectrum where fandoms fall on various places on that spectrum.
Some of them weird,
there
huh?
There are some would maybe use that word, yes.
Yeah. Well, the reason we found out about you is Stephanie, our producer, found a story about, and this is a word, trust me when I tell you this, I had never heard of before, and I know you know about it because this is how we found you. The word is bronies. I had no idea it existed. Wendy, I don't think you did either, right?
No,
Bronies?
No.
Would you please tell everybody, what exactly are we talking about when we discuss men who are bronies? What is that?
Well, we're talking predominantly about a young male group of fans who follow the television series My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic.
Right.
Is this real? I mean, this isn't
This
like
is
they're
real.
just goofing around saying, oh, yeah, I like My Little Pony.
This is real,
They're
right?
really.
So this is very real, yes.
Yeah. Now that show, My Little Pony, is aged at people, I'd say, between the ages of 3 and 4, right?
Yes.
Right.
And mainly girls, you would think.
Right.
Lots of pastel colors and pinks and purples.
Yeah. So that
correct.
said, why would it be guys?
And how old are these guys?
My understanding is the average age is about 21, so they usually range between 18 and 35.
Uh-huh. And why is that? You're a doctor. Help us out. Why would that be? What would a guy like that find interesting at all in My Little Pony? That's a kid's cartoon. That's for little kids. Why then?
Well, there are lots of explanations, I think, and maybe not one of them is the correct or right one, so to speak. Some other scholars as well, have speculated that the draw of this show is the kind of the authenticity of the fact that this is about friendship, and a lot of adult shows are a little more cynical, layers of meaning, especially post 9/11. Some scholars have suggested that as well, that in this post 9/11 era that we're really kind of depressed all the time by the shows we see on TV, shows like The Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, these kind of really dark shows.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of comforting for them?
Yeah, in a way it is. It's just kind of pure and simple, and a celebration of friendship and treating each other with kindness and taking care of each other. So that's one possible appeal.
Could it be here's a possibility. Could it be the pastel colors that some people find soothing?
Perhaps.
Yeah.
See, I don't get it. There are more comforting things out there.
Than My Little Pony?
It just seems weird. And again, men into this.
Right.
An age group 18 to 30-ish, whatever you said, 13, 34. I mean, men that age.
It goes against the norm of what they should like.
And that may be another explanation. A lot of us try to find certain media texts that make us different. Humans do like to be unique in a sense, and this is certainly a way to make oneself unique. I can understand some concern as well, especially if a person doesn't understand fandom in general, especially media fandom, or this particular show. Of course, parents, both men and women who are parents, might be very familiar with this show, watching it alongside with their kids, and become attracted to this kind of simple tale about a group of ponies who are friends and go on adventures together.
Well,
also, we might think about the fact that a lot of these young men probably grew up watching a lot of cartoons, animation,
Right.
anime,
Yeah.
being involved in that. So it doesn't really, to me, seem like a stretch that they might be interested in this particular text.
Dr. Cochran, when my daughters were little, they would watch, I'm sure you're aware of the show Blue's Clues, and I would watch
love that
Blue's
show.
Clues with them. And then after my daughters grew out of Blue's Clues, I'd find myself on the couch still watching Blue's Clues. And one of the darkest days of my life is when they took Steve off of Blue's Clues and replaced him with his ne'er-do-well brother. It still disturbs me. That's not normal, is it?
Why not? We get attached to characters whether they're animated or not.
Yeah.
And
I
so we
just-
get invested in these storylines because they might just make us feel good.
Yeah, but My Little Pony, there are so
It's
much
so
better
saccharine.
shows out there than that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're called Bronies. We were talking yesterday, I guess because, bromance, everything's like brothers
Brothers
who
who like
My
My Little Pony.
Ponies.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Well, like any fandom, there's always going to be, like I said, a kind of spectrum of fans. So some of the other concern may come from the fact that this is a text that is geared towards very young girls. And so when men may get involved in this kind of fandom, it may seem a little bit more like, it has hints of pedophilia on the extreme end of the spectrum of the fandom. But then again, we think about texts that women aren't traditionally supposed to like. For example, one of the voice actors for the series, John Delancey,
Yeah.
he has compared this as a kind of reversal of the female fans who fell in love with Star Trek, the original series.
Oh, because he was
many
Q
years
on
ago.
Star Trek, right? Is that the same guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and it's not quite the same. It's not an accurate comparison because, of course, Star Trek was a series that was geared toward adults to begin with. But it does help us kind of think about, our expectations for gender and why we are so uncomfortable in this particular situation with men enjoying something that's made for very small girls.
For very young girls, absolutely. Jenny is on the line. She's in Northbrook and wants to jump in on this. Jenny, you're on with Dr. Tanya Cochran, Associate Professor of English at Union College in Lincoln, Nebraska. Go ahead. Did you have a question or comment?
or an obsession?
Well, I have a comment, and I would never have believed this. I really wouldn't. If I hadn't been at the Seattle Airport Hotel one time and there was a Bronies convention.
What was that like?
It took us a really long time to figure out what was going on. We were lost, and we finally had to ask, someone who worked there. We said, okay, we're lost. What is going on? And they told us, and we still didn't believe it. So then we went up and found 4 young boys, and they were about, early 20s.
Yeah.
And they were dressed up. They each had special T-shirts on, and one of them had pony ears headband. One had a unicorn headband on him, and they were all dressed up, and they were just happy as could be. And their families are with there supporting them, and
Wow.
See, I
made
don't.
new friends. I have a picture of them too, so I would love.
Well, frame that and put that over the couch in the family room.
Send us the picture if it's possible. I'd love to see
will.
that.
And maybe, I'm the
will.
dark side of things, but right away I hear this and I'm thinking it's some kinky sexual thing.
Would you? Yeah?
I can't think that this is some comfort, doctor. I mean, who knows? But I go the other way.
Yeah, of course. That makes sense.
They seemed pretty nice and normal. I mean, they just look like regular 21, 2, 3-year-old boys who play video games. They kind of look like that.
Oh, they did? That look?
Into
How about
Dungeons
that?
and Dragons, and maybe now they're just into ponies. I don't know.
You know how these
was
kids are.
funny.
Jenny, thanks so much for the call. Thanks so much.
Sure.
Can you hold on for a second, Dr. Cochran? Are you okay? Because we've got every line lit up. We'll talk more about this, a phenomena that Wendy and I were never aware of until just the other day. It's called Bronies. These are grown men who, for some weird reason, I guess.
Like pastel ponies.
Yeah, they like My Little Pony. So jump in if you like, 312-981-7200 or text to 24720. We'll be right back. It's WGN. See, somewhere there's a 23-year-old guy hearing this song and getting extremely aroused by it.
No, but I don't know if that's true.
You suggested that there's some sexual connection to this.
I did not.
Yes, you
All
did.
Right. Bill
you
Leff,
did.
Wendy Snyder. I suggested that,
It's a possibility.
I don't understand this.
Right,
So
right.
that's why we have an expert on, Dr. Tanya Cochran, Associate Professor of English at Union College, Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah.
And I'm confused about this young group of men who are really, really into My
way
Little
into
Pony.
it. Actually,
Bronies are their
Bronies are their name. Mary knows a little bit about this. Mary, why do you know so much about this?
I know about it because my son's a brony.
He is. And how old of a guy are we talking about?
He's currently 19.
19. And how does this manifest itself in your son, Mary? What's he doing?
Actually, it's a wide range thing that goes across the country. I actually went with him to a convention in New Jersey last year, and there were about 4,000 men and women, boys and girls, and families that were there too. It's just basically what they said. It's into the friendship and the goodwill towards people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they like the good outlet for where they can just be something without having negative connotations to it.
So that's really
they all had
it?
a great time. Yes.
Because, I mean,
I was there and at the convention center, and I'm watching all these kids and people taking videos, and they were just the happiest, and not in a weird way, just very happy, fun-loving guys and girls, all dressed up in costumes.
Mary, that's good to know because I really, it sounded weird to
It
me.
does.
I'm sorry.
No weirdness to it at all.
There isn't.
No sexual weirdness to it at all. No.
All right.
They were dancing. They were singing. They were watching this. They had a screen with the cartoons on it. They had a full convention center down in New Jersey. It was wonderful.
I've been to Comic-Con.
They were
Bill, I
moms
know
and
you
dads
have.
and family.
Yeah. Dr.
And he's
Cochran,
gone to other conventions.
where it's not been this way? Dr. Cochran, is this
No,
the
he's
norm?
not.
Is this what we usually get? Is just out jubilation from the brony culture?
From everything I know, yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, all fandoms are going to have their extremes, but just like many other fandoms, most people who are bronies, and it does include women as well, just really like this text for whatever reason. It could be a personal one. It could be a connection with another person. Just enjoying this, enjoying how simple it is, how straightforward it is.
Yeah.
And again, this focus on happy things and friendship and caring for one another in a community.
Well, Mary, that's good news. That's good news. We're wishing you a rainbow pastel-y day. Thank you so much for calling.
Because, Dr. Cochran, you got to admit, there's not a lot of conventions. Mary just pointed out her son is 19 years old. A lot of conventions, a 19-year-old guy isn't going to bring his mom to most conventions.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
Let's talk to Andrew. He's got some insight on this as well. Andrew, go ahead.
Well, I don't know about insight. I'm not a brony myself, but it is interesting, it is a little odd too. But so we're all in agreement that 35 and 40-year-olds being infatuated with something marketed toward teeny boppers is odd, right? Hello,
Doctor, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Odd is such a I guess
it's not the norm, right? It's not the
norm. We
Yeah.
could say that. Yeah.
That's fair.
So then explain to me the Justin Bieber phenomenon. Because now when women do it, then it's just fandom.
Well, he's a real person and not a pastel cartoon.
We don't know that.
But
Well,
still, it's still that. Still that if a bunch of 35, 40-year-olds men are standing there, screaming over, a teenager girl,
Right.
it's weird. But if women are doing it, it's just marketing.
You don't see it that way, Wendy?
No, I think this is still kind of a different issue, but I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront, Andrew.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Really quick, Dr. Cochran, I have to ask you this. Stephanie already clued you in on this a little bit. I'm a huge toy collector. I collect action figures from the 60s and up to today. 2 rooms full of glass cases filled with them. Wendy's husband, Jim, is the same way with Star Wars collectibles. What is it in our brains that makes us different from most people that feels that need to just collect and collect and collect?
Well, it's probably part of your personality. I have a touch of that as well. Fandom scholars might describe the drive to collect as a way to have a kind of physical object that connects you to that narrative that you appreciate so much. So it's whereas now we can own DVDs and kind of rewatch, but if you think about television and broadcast 20 or 30 years ago, there really was no way to record. And in humans in general, some of us have this kind of propensity to want to have objects that represent something for
something
us.
that makes them happy.
But this stand-in for the story or the narrative or the experience.
This makes total sense, Dr. Cochran. You've just really, Bill, you loved being a kid. You loved toys. So
it's a time machine for
you're
me.
Keeping them alive with your collection. Same with my husband.
Yeah.
He is so into Star Wars because those movies came out when he was little, and he was able to share that passion with his kids who were the same age when the new movies came out. So it really is just keeping a part of you alive. So I guess now I kind of understand Bronies
a little bit better.
Yeah, because they're taking a although really just why My Little Pony? I mean, even the Care Bears were better.
Don't start a fight between the Care Bear faction and the My Little Pony faction. You don't want to do that.
But it makes sense now, doesn't it? You're holding on to a time you loved being a kid, and you'll never grow up.
No, I guess not. Dr. Cochran, thanks so much for shedding some insight on this. We really appreciate it. All right, we've got that. You're welcome. We've got news coming your way next. It's Bill F. and Wendy Snyder on WGN.
The Chicago Real Estate.